So, the American military-industrial complex has an infinite appetite for war, and peace is their kryptonite. Now, why I'm saying that? Look at this report. The American administration is pressuring Ukrainian to lower the conscription age to 18. Yes, at the mere age of 18, when you are considered barely an adult, when you are just a teenager. This is the value and moral system which preaches the whole world about human right and democracy and whatnot. Go die in a war, no matter what your age is, because our war machine is hungry for more dollars. I mean, pure shamelessness on display. Thankfully, some sense has prevailed in Ukrainian administration, and Zelensky has pushed back on this bizarre US demand. And instead, Zelensky is demanding for more weapon supply. According to him, the West has not supplied enough weapon because out of 10 brigades support, the West has only been able to equip 2.5 brigades fully. So why talking about lowering conscription age when you are not able to fulfill the weapon supply? Since the beginning of this war, it is not like Ukraine has not lowered the conscription age. In April of 2024, Zelensky signed a bill to lower the minimum conscription age to 25 from 27, and this decision itself has caused a lot of dissent among the people. Since the beginning of this war, 650,000 men have already fled the country, and this number is expected to increase more. You see, this was not the case in the beginning. Earlier, people were volunteering themselves to fight against the Russians. But slowly, the mood is shifting. The Ukrainian army is facing big number of desertions. Men are trying to escape the war. So either they are leaving the country altogether or they are going off the radar after being forced to join the army. Yes, off the radar. They just left their weapon and go back to their home. No leave application, no notifying, just abandoning the army high and dry. So you can see the situation is very gloomy, and of course it is increasing tension among the generals and the politicians. If you look at this graph on the screen, you can notice over the years the number of men leaving the army is increasing. In 2022, it was less than 10,000 men who left. Here, the blue part indicates number of people who have deserted, while the black part represents men who are absent without leave, that is AWOL. That means these men joined the army, maybe served for few weeks or for few months, and after that they left their post or they left their unit without telling anyone. Or what they are doing is they take medical leave and after that they never come back to join the forces. So this number has been increasing over the years. In 2022, the combined number was less than 10,000. It grew to 30,000 in 2023. And in 2024, it has hugely increased to more than 60,000 men leaving the army. And in totality, approx 100,000 men have left the army, who is facing a mammoth war machine like Russia. So, what exactly is it? It was not such a case in the beginning of the war. On the contrary, men were willingly and eagerly marching off to the battleground. But as time passed, their morale went down. In the battlefield, they were getting heavily outnumbered against the Russians. And according to some reports, 5 to 7 Ukrainian troops were forced to engage with 30 Russian troops. So you can see this difference is considerable. Also, the Ukrainian army has not been getting considerable win anywhere it fights, and it has broken the troops psychologically. The only major win by Ukraine has been in the Kursk region. Meanwhile, the Russians have almost captured 20% of the Ukrainian territory. In this map, the dark red region is the territory occupied by Russia after 2022, while the purple colored area were occupied by Russia before the war started. And when we compared it with Ukrainian army, their victory has been minimal and they have occupied a very small region in the Russia. So obviously you can say the morale is not that high. On top of that, the war fatigue has set in. There are some units which are constantly getting redeployed battle after battle. There is no break for them. Many soldiers have not been able to leave the battlefield since 2 years. The conscription was applied in March of 2022. And since then, they are grueling on the battlefield. There is no time to rest, there is no time to recover. And therefore, they are just leaving their post abruptly and going back to home. Recently, the 155th Mechanized Brigade saw a huge number of desertions. So this brigade was trained by a western ally of Ukraine. The French were training them in the western Ukraine, and around the training itself, 50 men just disappeared. This brigade had almost 5,800 men in the beginning, and so far 1,700 of them had fled within an year of deployment. So 50 of them disappeared during the training time and 1,700 fled after going into the battlefield. In this case, it is not like they were lacking in equipment or anything. France and Poland had equipped them with German Leopard tanks, French howitzers, which are considered an advanced technology in the battlefield, and still 1/3 of the brigade fled away. And this has led to high distress in the leadership. Now, to enlist more troops, the Ukrainian government is trying everything. For example, in November 2024, even they have decided to pardon the dissenters who fled the army. The Ukrainian parliament passed a bill, and according to it, if you had fled from the battle and this is your first time of fleeing, you will be pardoned if you decide to go back and serve again. This move is very uncommon, and this is an alarming situation. It tells how the army is lacking in numbers. The foreign fighters are also leaving Ukraine. Obviously, the Ukrainian authority cannot stop them because they came according to their will and they can leave at their will. If you will stop them, then you won't be able to recruit more foreign troops because independence is loved by everyone. This fleeing from the country has given local gangs an opportunity. According to the Ukrainian officials, 600 gangs are operating in Ukraine, which are smuggling men out of the country. According to a Washington Post report, the smugglers are taking somewhere from $2,000 to $20,000 to smuggle people. And what they are doing is that they are arranging people to cross the Moldova border. And from there, they have made their travel legitimate by faking documents and are making them fly to European countries. Also, they are smuggling people to Hungary and Romania because these countries share border with. This has not been an easy endeavor because people have died crossing the river. And doing so, many have drowned and many have been caught and tortured. And the financial angle is already an issue. So what could be the solution for this? This guy, the Ukrainian authority are hopeful. And not only Ukrainian, also Putin is hopeful. The Trump presidency will make peace between these countries, which is the only option to stop the chaos. So this was it for today. This is Raj signing off. And it would be great if you could like and subscribe.